Hey guys, welcome back to OverTakes. This is Kel.
And this is Misfit.
And we are here with our preview of, well, they're not stages anymore, so I can't really call it that. Week one.
Week one. We are here, guys.
We're here.
Finally, after all the bullshit, all of the talk, all of the naysayers, all of the things that happened in the last 6 months since San Francisco won, it is finally upon us. Been waiting for this. We got matches all weekend. We're going to start talking about stuff. We're going to tell you guys where we're at. But yesterday we got some great news, at least from our end, and hopefully from some of your guys' end too.
Yeah.
So Captain Planet, the stat guru, dropped on us that now if you go onto the Overwatch League site, we actually have stats.
Yes.
And boy, do we have stats.
Basically, he took the tools that they use internally, dressed them up a little nicer, just so it's a little more user-friendly than just like it's not basic commands that they were using to draw this stuff up. But
it's like Winston's lab used to be on, but now on crack, and easier to navigate for OWL.
Super easy to navigate. There's tons of variables, so many things. Like, go if you guys haven't looked at it.
Oh, please look at it.
Take a look. You could literally lose hours just looking at random different stats and all kinds of different things on this from the previous 2 seasons. And I am so excited to finally have something like this. It's going to make a world of difference for us as content creators. I think we're going to be able to finally move in the direction that we've been hoping for. Because that's always been a big thing that I've really wanted to be able to do is pull random stats out of my ass.
Yeah, exactly. And
throw them out there.
I always like the probabilities and looking at things, because one thing about last year, we knew what more or less what was going to happen with teams because of the GOATS meta. Now we got all this other stuff thrown in. Right. We're going to need to know. Oh,
there's going to be many more variables this year.
Yeah.
With all the changes and everything that's coming. Yeah. And this just makes it that much more exciting.
Oh, just unbelievably exciting. We'll have some different segments on there. Mm-hmm. Stuff that maybe you guys didn't see. Some stuff that, you didn't know.
Oh, you didn't know?
Your ass better call somebody. We're going to make this fun and informative and help you guys along with some of the stuff that we're going to have coming up, which is going to be our Saturday show, where we're going to use a lot of stats and a lot of stuff to show you why we like certain teams for our picks and for the odds on the picks, where you can, like we had been talking about, for the different matches and all that. This week is going to be good for people that like to bet favorites. We'll get into more of that on the Saturday show, though.
Yeah.
First, before we get into any of the week one talk, we're going to give you our first segment on the odds, and that is the futures, which is going to tie in with our power rankings, more or less. Power rankings right now are kind of weird.
And it's not even so much power rankings, it's more just kind of looking at where everybody is, kind of ranking them. I mean, we kind of have our own idea of where teams are going to fall, similar to what we did during our
previews.
Where we kind of put them about where they were going to be. I mean, no definitive power rankings, but we're just going to kind of put a little twist on it. So I hope you guys like it.
Yeah, and one thing to note, one of the reasons why we just didn't do the formal power rankings is the missing games.
Yeah.
It's really hard to say, well, I think Guangzhou's 6th if they're not playing until March.
Yeah.
Right now. So definitely look for us to do something more concrete and solid once we get information on when this stuff is going to be played. Because that's going to factor into a lot of stuff. If they're moving these matches to the second half of the year, some of it is going to be kind of screwy. Mm-hmm. Weeks and things like that.
For sure.
Because, I mean, week 3, I was looking at the schedule. We have the first of the Pacific West teams. Boy, the geography's really screwing me up with that division.
Yeah, right.
The Pacific West division it's their first trip to China, but that's on hold. So you have teams, not only the Chinese teams that are involved in it, but you have the Valiant. I believe it's the Valiant, the Gladiators, and the Shock are also involved in that. So they're not going to be playing that week, on top of the other buys and all that other stuff. So anyway, let's jump into this. So we are going to talk about the futures, and they fall into where we kind of were going to rank them anyway. There's some ups and downs on teams. So we're going to talk just the odds. You can see them up on the screen. There are places to go throw a couple coins on these.
Yeah.
Seek them out. We might have more information on some of that stuff in the future.
Yes.
Some concrete places where you can go. But these are the odds to win the championship. This isn't like, first half or anything like this. This is the whole damn thing. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, looking at it, it's pretty much everybody's power rankings, top to bottom, more or less.
Right. I mean, you expected San Francisco, New York, Atlanta to be about where they are. I think Atlanta is a pretty good value, but at the same time, I don't think it's good enough.
Yeah, with some of the other...
with some of the other ones that are available.
Yeah, because you can really sneak a couple of good... if you do your homework and you're taking advantage of things that you might know. The whole thing with wagering is your knowledge versus the book's knowledge.
Right.
There's things that you might know and some things that we are going to try and convey to maybe sway you to throw some money on teams. And, you're looking at it, all right, the shock, I can just make $200 easy. Now, this is based on per $100 bet.
Yeah.
Or whatever you want to call your wager. It could be 100 peanuts. I don't care. But so the shock at plus 200, you're like, well, this is easy. I'm just going to throw X down and get 200 back.
Right.
Why not try for more? Because they could lose. We don't know what's going to happen. Yes, they're the most versatile team in the league. They're probably going to be there in the end.
Yeah.
But
there's also no guarantee.
Yeah.
I mean, that's really the biggest factor that we're getting from all the changes and the hero pools and all of that.
Especially the way...
It's going to throw in a lot of different variables that are going to change
because
all of these outcomes.
Yeah, exactly. And now remember, we're running on... when the hero pools start, the next hero pool goes up, and they're going to ban heroes, not just random. It's based on heroes played the week before.
Week, yeah.
So there are going to be weeks where you're not going to see Super, but there's going to be weeks where you're going to see Super on Reinhardt because, the week before someone was running, the big thing was
and
Dive.
And they won't ban the same hero 2 weeks in a row.
Right. But I can almost guarantee you're going to see a lot of every other week picks. You're going to see, depending on what's quote-unquote meta, you like right now, I'm sure every other week, before, any more buffs, nerfs, any of that kind of thing, you're going to see Orisa and Sigma, and then the next week you're going to not see them, and then the week after that, they're going to be banned again.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I'm just thinking, like, those first 3 weeks that we're going to have before the bans come in, it's going to be really interesting to see, like, where the meta would have been.
Yeah.
Because we're going to have a meta for it.
Oh, yeah.
There's no doubt in my mind that we're pretty much going to be seeing mirrors to start the season.
Yeah, I'm sure.
And then once you get to that third week, it's going to be like, well, now you can't do this because these 4 characters are all gone.
Yeah, and from the way it sounds, it's going to be what we kind of saw at the end of last year, maybe a little bit different. You're going to get Orisa, Sigma, May Reaper, pick your support for a map type, or most likely Bap and Moira,
or Lucio's going to be in there somewhere.
Yeah,
most likely.
I can almost guarantee the first week of bans it's going to be either Orisa or Sigma, May and Reaper, and then one of the supports, probably Baptiste.
Yeah,
because he still gets a lot of value anyway,
even in other comps.
Yeah, so we're going to highlight we'll do our top 3 values for full season odd. For full season, to win the championship. It's hard. I'm not going to pick the end of the season winner right now.
Right.
Too much is up in the air. But these are the picks that we think are worth it outside of who you're, we'll say outside of the top 3.
Yeah.
That are on the board.
We're pretty much just gonna eliminate San Francisco, New York, and Atlanta because their odds are too good for this to even be worth it now.
Best one of the 3, if you wanted to bet on those 3, would be Atlanta, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Really good team, really versatile. Plus 650 is a nice return.
Yes, definitely.
But if you're a gambler, you're looking for more.
Exactly.
And you're also looking, we're going to also do this, the teams where you're going to probably say to shy away from.
Yes.
Where it's a trap.
So let's start off with our best value picks. Who's your first high value pick?
My first high value, I really liked Vancouver at plus 800. That, to me, is they're a legit top 5 team. They have a decent schedule. They only have 2 homestands, but I like what they did. It all hinges upon the one, the only, the Fisher. Mm-hmm. It could get dicey, but at plus 800, I think that's why they're so low, too, is the Fisher factor. Low being in your favor, guys.
Yeah, I agree.
Low on the list. That would be my top one if I was just going to walk in right now today and go, this is who I'm going to put my money on. Mm-hmm. Outside of the top few, it would be Vancouver.
I can agree with that, but I think my better value that's a little bit lower on there is actually going to be Seoul. I really do think that they are heavily underrated on this, and if they get things together, a small bet has a massive return on this.
Yeah, at plus 1,400 is really good. They're my second one on that on the list.
I see them as the best value right now. I really think they can do a lot, and I'm doing a small bet, even just a $10 bet on this team to win it all.
That brings you 140 back.
Yeah. I'll take that.
Yeah, I'll take that. That's a good return. I mean, you're not gonna. And the thing is with them, they should be relevant and really good.
Yeah.
The only thing you got to worry about is the first half of the year to figure out where and what's going on with the play. Mm-hmm. I mean, that could factor in at some point. But I think every place I've looked, though, everything's still on the board.
Yeah.
So nothing's been taken off the board yet.
Mm-hmm. And I do think that they have the flexibility to make a good run.
Yeah.
Because there are some teams that are rated higher, which we're going to get into later, that don't have that kind of flexibility, that are... I think they're going to end up struggling a lot more.
Yeah.
So your second pick was going to be Seoul.
Yeah.
What's your... Any other reasoning to add into that?
I was torn between them and Vancouver. I'm pretty much on the same page with you with all that. I think just having, and this is fanboy shit, just having profit on the team is going to guarantee a couple of wins.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then you get that dude in the playoffs. Even when London was struggling, he managed to pull shit out of his ass. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, I can't knock that one.
Yeah, I mean, when you got a guy that clutch, it's going to bring your odds up quite a bit. So my second pick is actually going to be Guangzhou. I do think that, again, a small bet is going to have massive returns. Plus 25. Like 2,500. Or 2,500 is absurd.
Insane. I mean, they're a team that could be top 4 easy by the end of the year if once they get things rolling and get things gelling. And
I do think this would be a more solid bet if they still had a player like Hotba, but I do think the rest of their roster just has a ton of versatility, and I really think that this team can make a run.
Yeah,
it is interesting that right below them is the Spark, which is about where we put them.
Yeah,
because a lot of people have the Spark a lot higher than this.
I'm not sold. I'm still not sold on that.
Yeah, we're not sold at all.
I wouldn't touch that team at all.
No.
If you're going in that range where you want to make a splash play, Guangzhou's the pick.
Yeah. Because
beneath them, these teams, a lot of the teams beneath them are going to be lucky if they make it to the play-in.
Yeah.
Your Washingtons, your Floridas, your, Chengdu. Mm-hmm. I mean, some people will throw money on Chengdu at plus 400. Not me. That team scares me. It's too inconsistent.
Yeah.
Guangzhou, if Krong turns out to what the expectations are, watch out.
Yes,
I think this team is going to be... I'm pretty high on Guangzhou. But now let's go to the pick 3. I'm going to go with Philly.
Ooh, okay.
I'm not sold on Sato being the worst tank in the league. shoot me. I don't care. Was he great last year? No. There were a lot of guys that were really good that were terrible last year, and I think it was a toxic environment. They just didn't want to be there. They didn't want to play. They got rid of some of those guys. They brought in Fury. They brought in Ivy and a couple other guys, and then you have their Alarm, Funny Astro. I think this team is at plus 1,100. I think that's a great play if you want to play them. They will be in the playoffs. If they're not, that's going to be bad. So if they get in the playoffs, in my opinion, you have a shot.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, that's where when I'm looking at these, especially with the formats and they're not going to have hero changes. They're going to have to come up with a meta in the playoffs.
Yeah.
So we'll see where that goes. But
I think if any team can squeeze their way into the playoff, they can and go on a run. Yeah, I absolutely agree. So my last one is actually going to be like a super dark horse, and it's going to be kind of a toss-up between Toronto and London. So they're both at plus 5,000 right now, but I think we were talking about it last night as far as Toronto. I really think that this team is going to benefit. Like, this is going to be a team that actually jumps up a lot because of the chaos that's going to be created.
I agree
and
with that,
their
sure.
versatility that they're going to have, especially on their DPS line. I think there's some other factors that are going to come into it that are going to make it tough for them. But, again, a small bet has, like, the biggest possible return you're going to get.
Yeah, them and London
actually
are
at least, with both of these teams. London is a little more unknown.
But that can work in their favor,
too. That actually works in their favor. That's why I was a little more toss-up between them. I think the bet that I would probably go with is actually London, just because it's such an unknown that they could just come in and surprise everybody.
Yeah.
Whereas Toronto, I think, because the talent that they have are known commodities, there's a little bit more that you can base it off of.
Right. And also keep an eye on these two. I mean, we'll update some of these too. If London starts off slow, don't write that off.
No.
Those are things, because you might be able, if you don't put it on right now, you might be able to get more value.
Yeah, it might
down
go
the
down
line, and
even more.
Especially if you see something in them. All right, they're losing. It's just inexperience to start.
Yes.
They start building on stuff and they start rolling. They get into the play-in and they could be the hottest team. Mm-hmm. You could be, as that's going on, they could go from plus 5,000 to plus 7,000 or something like that, and you can, rake a little bit more in.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's where I'm at with these teams, and I think London is a little bit more of an interesting bet on this. Yeah. Just because they're a feast or famine team. I think they're either going to have like a late run where they just go off, or they're going to be completely terrible the whole season. But I think that in the terms of betting, like, that's worth the risk. I think. Yeah,
I think so too.
To try to get a payout like that, even just a tiny bet, $20.
Yeah,
that's going to give you a grand.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, I will take that.
Any day of the week. Yeah, you'll take that, and that's a giant return. And they do have the potential to be, one of the better teams or one of the worst teams. But that the plus 5,000, you can't go wrong there.
And the championship pedigree of the organization itself, I think, really kind of bumps them up. And I'm honestly surprised that they are this low.
Yeah, because there are teams above them that me and you and a bunch of people don't even think are going to make the playoffs.
Yeah.
Washington, Florida, Chengdu. They all have better odds than Toronto and London, mm-hmm. and I think they're actually worse.
Yeah, I agree.
So, London's an unknown factor. The first week, do not judge anything off of that, because they got to play NYXL.
Right.
So, probably going to get smoked in New York.
Most likely.
But, use that in your favor. If you think that they can do a run, just keep an eye out.
Absolutely. All right, so let's go to our avoid these at all cost.
Or at minimum, keep a freaking eye on them and look. Because
Because their value is too high for what we feel like they're going to be. Okay.
All right. So let's talk teams that are avoidable or sketchy at best. And
yeah.
These are, I mean, yeah, it also falls into like with the top three. Yeah, you can just say avoid Boston and the Valiant.
Right.
Well, duh.
Yeah. And you can even throw Paris in there too.
Yeah, or like Florida could get in the playoffs. I don't think they're going to make a massive run.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's stuff like that. I'm going to say that my top team to avoid right now is Shanghai.
Yeah, I fully agree with that.
And it's not that I don't think that they're going to win. Plus 700 is decent, but their tank line frightens me.
Yeah.
Right now. It's just kind of...
I mean, they've got world-class DPS, but...
average to above average supports.
Line, but I just don't know if those things are going to be enough to overcome the deficiencies that they very much have on their tank line.
And they're going to be weeks when they pop the fuck off.
Too. Oh, yeah. There's going to be weeks where you're going to be like, this team is unbeatable, but I guarantee you there's going to be times where they're going to look very mortal and they're going to get stomped.
Yeah, because with those DPS that they have, they're really good, but they're really streaky sometimes.
So I see this team as kind of they beat all the teams that are worse than them, and any team that is better than them destroys them.
Yeah,
I think
especially teams with better tank.
They are going to feast on the likes of like all the bottom feeders, the Valiant, the
Paris, and on their side of the fence, I would say they're way better than Hangzhou, Chengdu, Dallas.
Yeah,
like
they're gonna play really well against a lot of those teams, but I just don't think that's gonna be enough. Because once they start having to face a team like Vancouver, San Francisco, New York, Atlanta, I really think that they're going to struggle, and a lot of their deficiencies are going to come out.
Yeah, and
because those teams are going to exploit those, because 100%. That's what good teams do.
Yeah, and I don't know the tank, like their tank and their support versatility. They have enough covered in the DPS to pretty much do anything.
Right.
To me, their
support, I think, is also. I think they have good supports. I just don't think they're versatile enough. And then on top of that, it's going to be even more pronounced when you factor in their tank line.
Yeah.
Because I think that not that they have bad tanks, but I just don't think they're going to have the versatility they need to really make a good run.
Yeah.
With that tank line.
Do you have someone different?
For that one, no. I'm with you on Shanghai for the first pick.
My next one is probably going to surprise some people. I'm going to go with the Gladiators. Also, very strong. Their DPS, I want to see something from their DPS. It's a decent line at plus 1,200. But I just... Who the fuck are... Mirror and the guys that they have on DPS. I don't know. I know their tank line's going to be decent. Yeah. I know their support line's going to be decent. But when you need the carry, where's it coming from on the DPS line?
Yeah. I'm with you on that. I think...
I would call that more of an on-the-watch team, kind of...
Yeah.
You might lose some value in the... If you kind of say, all right, they're kind of clicking pretty good. They're probably going to drop down. You probably would end up seeing something like a plus 800, plus 600, 700, somewhere in there, depending on how they're going.
I think right now... this line is probably about where I would expect it to be, but I think it could dip down lower, and that's when I would be a little more apt to go for it, because I do think they're going to start off slow. That's my big takeaway from this, is that, you can get better value with this team later, but at the same time, I just don't know if any of those are going to be worth it, because
teams that have just a better
overall chance, and I think that once again, even if everything goes as best as it possibly can for this team, I just don't think they have that that player with that killer instinct to just take over a game and win a map or win a team fight that is crucial. I think they are still lacking that, unfortunately.
Yeah, I do too. And their division's ridiculous. The conference is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Tough. I mean, if
the
they're in the
conference
Atlantic
and the division they're in.
Yeah.
Like, both of those factor in so hard. Like, they're in...
Yeah, you got San Francisco and Vancouver.
Yeah.
I mean, the only feeder in that is, as far as we know, is the Valiant, who are apparently going to be the Hangzhou Spark this year because everyone's calling them like the best scrim team.
Yeah.
People also said that about fucking Washington last year.
Yeah.
And they just promptly went out and lost every game until they...
I mean, hey, when they were able to finally play DPS, they got a lot better, right?
Yeah, exactly. Don't know what's going to happen right now with that.
But my team is actually... I kind of touched on them earlier, and that's the Spark. I think this team is just... They're ranked way too high by most people. I think they're going to be a bottom 5 team in my book.
Yeah.
They really...
I feel the same exact way.
They started to fall apart last year. I don't think they did enough in the offseason to bolster their ranks. And I think other teams have just kind of figured out how to take advantage of them. As good as Gouchway was for a long time, I think he's exploitable.
Yeah. And they're bad with meta, like, switching.
Yeah,
switching stuff.
They're a slow to adapt team, and that's going to absolutely kill them. I think that was the biggest thing they struggled with last year, was anytime any kind of changes came in to heroes or meta or whatever, they struggled to adapt, and it usually took them 2 or 3 weeks to adapt. And when you're changing every single week, that's...
And your best chance is every other week when you have stuff you can play. Yeah. I mean, I'm sure these guys are going to have some kind of map because they know what they're going to pick and they know what's going to happen, sort of. Right. Because they're not going to ban Symmetra. Because who gives a fuck?
Right. Exactly.
At this level.
Yeah. They're not going to ban the players or the characters that no one plays anyway.
So they're
not going to ban Torb. They're not going to ban Symmetra.
I mean, unless they became meta for some odd reason, but
they're not going to.
Right, but what I'm getting at, what Hangzhou is there's going to be weeks when Gouchway can't play either Ryan or Winston. Yeah, and there could be back-to-back weeks where 1 week Winston gets banned, 1 week Ryan gets banned. Where's he at? With the stuff, and then their DPS
because that depends on what else is going to get played. Depending on, so if Winston gets banned, then you kind of have to go with a brawler comp, which favors Rhine, but then what if they ban Lucio at the same time?
Yeah, exactly. Then
you have to go to a poke comp, and that is like worst case scenario for this team.
Yeah, or you try to go like on certain maps, you go kind of that death ball-ish thing with not necessarily death ball, that Orisa Sigma kind of. With Moira, double shield kind of, depending on where you're at, or you run Sigma and something else. It's going to be interesting.
Right, because, I mean, that's the big thing to factor in is by banning one hero, it can completely... There's, like, usually 1 or 2 heroes that if you remove them, and they're, like, the comp that you can play with them is completely gone. Yeah. So it almost essentially bans 4 heroes because it's like if you if you were to go back to last season, if you were to ban Lucio, Goats is dead.
Yeah, or Brig.
You can get away with replacing Brig with other characters, but Lucio was the catalyst for it. Because the speed boost. If you're playing any kind of...
And the boops into the grabs and all that stuff.
Exactly.
Or like if you banned... And Goats, if you banned any one of like...
If you ban Zarya...
Yeah, it's over. Yeah, I was going to say you ban Lucio, Zarya.
You could kind of make it work if you were to switch to...
You could run monkey Goats and stuff like that.
Something like that. Yeah, there's a little more versatility. But really the big... factor was that if you ban on the flip side, if you ban Diva or Ball, Dive is dead.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of different factors, and I
don't know if they're that versatile to pull anything off.
Yeah, I really think that the Spark are going to struggle this year.
There are a few teams that's going to happen to where it's like, oh, fuck. Like, that's the one thing I worry about Vancouver is with just Fisher, are you going to be okay when they ban fucking Winston or Ryan, who he's not as good at but is decent at?
Yeah.
And, he
has to play Orisa or
Ball or something like that.
Well, his ball's not terrible.
It's not great.
Yeah.
Then what if, it becomes like a ball meta and you have to go up against Chengdu?
You're screwed.
Yeah. There's a lot. This is why this is so fucking... I've flipped on this with both, with the hero band thing. I'm kind of down.
Yeah. The more I really started to grow on me, the more...
Especially from this angle, you're just like, what?
Yeah.
And then the week-to-week stuff is going to be insane.
Oh my god!
Like with betting and looking at odds and all that, there's going to be factors that, and we're going to find them because you got to find where you can exploit and make the goods and make the good picks and all that. They might think that they see big name Fisher. All right, this guy's good. I mean, they have people watching. They have people on these things.
Oh, for sure.
But Fisher, they ban Winston or something like that, you're getting into a different thing, and they're playing a team that has a better Reinhardt, like they're playing San Francisco or something like that. Who's going to win?
Exactly.
You're going to probably get, maybe San Francisco's a bad thing. The odds are going to be kind of in your favor on San Francisco, but that's a whole nother story.
Yeah.
But it's going to be great. And also, it's just if I'm playing ranked to regular play, it's like, all right, so they ban one of the supports I play all the time. Pick a different role, forehead.
Yeah.
Exactly. So I can still play. I doubt there's going to be weeks when like all the heroes I like to play are out.
Right. Because honestly, quick play is in a really good spot right now.
Yeah, I mean, we played last night for a long time, had some fun.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, and that was even including Yeet Reinhardts and me trying to keep a fucking Torbjorn alive for a whole match.
Yeah.
I saved that dude's ass like 6 times.
And me not being great at tanking in general.
Well,
we definitely played our best when it was you and me on support.
And Ice playing ball.
I'm playing ball, yeah. His ball is awesome.
Yeah.
By the way.
It was fun. Thanks for playing with us last night, Ice That was fun.
Yeah, for sure.
Shout out to him. So, all right, guys. So that's going to do it for our last preview section to show you where we're at. Definitely in the comments down below, let us know what you think about where we're going, some of the stuff we're talking about. If you like it, if you like what we're talking about.
Yeah, let us know if you enjoy the betting thing, because it's something we've kind of wanted to focus on, and I think with the stats page coming up, I think it's going to make for some really, really interesting conversations that we'll be able to have, even if you're not betting. Because honestly, I don't really plan on putting that much money on anything this year, but I just think it's fun to talk about.
Yeah, it's fun to, and if you guys dig it,
speculating.
We'll do a contest, coins or whatever you want to call it, credits, doubloons. We'll definitely get involved in that. But yeah, we just want to do this because we like certain angles, because we want to talk about different things too. We're always going to talk about the matches, always talk about the teams and the players and all that stuff. But one of the things that we've tried in the past is fantasy. We're not good at Overwatch fantasy.
Yeah.
There are 3 or 4 podcasts that cover that stuff way better than we could ever dream of doing.
Absolutely.
So it's not, we don't want to copy them. We want to do something that we kind of find interesting and just bring it to you guys. And this is the angle we thought. And if you guys don't like that, I mean, there's a lot of other stuff we can do. We can talk about and stuff too. It's just, we want to give you guys a different experience.
Yeah, absolutely. And that is one thing. There's other ideas that we have of where we could go. But we think that this is kind of the best angle for us. And it kind of matches up to how we like to approach different things, and especially when it comes to like regular sports, and we talk a lot about that as well. Let us know, guys, how you feel about all this, and if there's any other segments that you think that would be really fun for us to talk about. We want to hear it.
Yeah, or we could do segments like Who Feeds Worse, Misfit, or Roar. We can go on that, except for it wouldn't be on Tank; it would be on something else.
Right.
With me. I'm not that dumb just to dive into a game with you guys and play a tank. Unless it's Diva, I could do that, but...
Fair.
Anyway, so that's going to do it. Stay tuned, guys, for tomorrow where we have our picks. We'll call that something somewhere down the line. Who knows? We'll come up with something cheesy enough.
For sure.
The bottom line, anyone that was alive in the 90s, cable television, you had all of the prognosticator, the bottom line, the latest line. And we're doing it in fun too, guys. It's not
absolutely.
like a serious thing. I mean, it's a different angle to pick things and just to see where things are at. Okay, so we'll talk more about that on the Saturday episode. All right, guys. So thanks a lot for joining us. All you guys out there on YouTube, thank you very much for all of your support. Please hit a like and a subscribe if you're new. Hit the bell for alerts. Everybody out there in podcast land, thank you very much for checking us out. Rating would be fantastic if you could give us one on iTunes or your podcatcher of choice. Guys, it's here. Saturday. It all starts up. We're going to see matches for the first time in 6 months. It's going to be great. And we will talk to you later.
Catch you guys on the next one. Later.